In a heartfelt tribute posted to social media, DC Public Schools remembers 3 students and 3 teachers lost on the 18th anniversary of the 9/11 terror attack. Students Asia Cottom, 11, Bernard Brown, 11, and Rodney Dickens, 11, along with teachers Hilda Taylor, James Debuner, and Sarah Clark were chosen to participate in a trip to study ecology in California beside National Geographic Society researchers. Less than 35 minutes into the trip, their flight was hijacked. At 9:37 a.m., the plane crashed into the Pentagon, all passengers on board died, and 125 Pentagon employees lost their lives. In 1877, David Lunt, an early resident of Deadwood, South Dakota, was accidentally shot in the forehead during a saloon fight between a man named Tom Smith and Town Marshal Con Stapleton, who was trying to disarm him. Even though the bullet passed through Lunt's brain and left open and exit wounds in his head, he remained conscious the whole time and suffered no pain. Lunt then resumed his life as usual until he suddenly felt a terrible headache and died 67 days after the incident. An autopsy found that Lunt had died as a result of the shot, but could not determine a reason for why he survived for such a long time. In 1976, 7-year-old Philippe Bertrand was kidnapped for ransom and murdered in France. During the investigation, a young man was interviewed about the case on live TV. He told a reporter that whoever kidnapped the boy deserved to be executed. It was soon discovered that he had been the kidnapper. The man, Patrick Henry, was convicted of the kidnapping and murder of the 8-year-old Philippe Bertrand in January 1976. He received a life sentence but was released in December 2017. However, just 3 months later he died from lung cancer. Steve Curry was pronounced dead after collapsing outside of a restroom on the Golden Canyon trailhead in 49°C temperatures at about 3:30 p.m. on July 18. Times reporter Haley Smith told KNBC-TV that she and the photographer tried to help him. "We offered him water, we offered him a ride. We said, 'Do you want to sit in our car in the air conditioning for a little while?' But he was really determined to finish what he had started," she said, adding they were both pretty shaken up by his death. Steve Curry, 71, of Sunland, smiles as he sits in the shade after walking to Zabriskie Point in Death Valley National Park on Tuesday, July 18, 2023, in Death Valley. Sydney Loof was born in Broken Bow, Nebraska. Things took a dark turn for her when she developed scoliosis in her teenage years. As a result, she had to give up her hobbies of playing golf and basketball. Her mental health suffered, and she had to rely on antidepressants. Sydney later made a friend online, a woman who identified herself as Audrey. They chatted for months before deciding on a date. On November 15, 2017, she went on a date with Audrey in Wilbur, Nebraska, and that was the day she was last seen alive. Unknown to Sydney, the woman she had been chatting with was Bailey Boswell and Aubrey Trail. The duo were involved in luring young girls and engaging in kinky activities with them while recording everything to sell to some men. Sydney's dismembered remains, along with SX toys, handcuffs, rope, and a dog collar, were found on December 4, 2017. Boswell was sentenced to life in prison, while Trail was given the death sentence. Photo of 2 engineers, aged 19 and 21, embracing while stuck on top of a wind turbine after a fire broke out. Unfortunately, neither of them survived. On October 29, 2013, at Deltawinds Piet de Wit Wind Farm in the Netherlands, 4 young engineers were performing maintenance when a devastating fire erupted in the engine room. Amidst the chaos, 2 engineers managed to escape, but the other 2 found themselves trapped at the top of the towering turbine, which stood approximately 260 feet above the ground. One of the engineers fell or jumped, and his body was found on the ground near the wind turbine, while the recovery of the other engineer's body took time and required the expertise of a specialized team. On August 25, 2016, 19-year-old Shauna Grice was murdered by her ex-boyfriend, Michael Lane, who was stalking her. She had reported this to the police 5 times. Following their breakup, Lane put a tracker device on her car which notified him via his mobile phone every time her vehicle moved. On February 8, 2016, Grice complained to police about being stalked by Lane after receiving unwanted flowers and damage to her car. On March 24, 2016, Lane snatched her phone and grabbed her hair. He was arrested on suspicion of assault but later released, and Grice was issued with a fixed penalty notice by the police for wasting their time by not disclosing she had been in a relationship with him. On July 9, 2016, Lane used a stolen key to let himself into her home and watch her while she was apparently sleeping. She was actually awake, had heard his footsteps and hid under the duvet. She heard a man breathing in her room. Shortly afterwards, the man left, and when Grice looked out her window she saw Lane walking away. He was arrested for theft, given a police caution and told to stay away from Grice. The following day, July 10, 2016, she received around 7 phone calls from a blocked number, including one with heavy breathing. She was told there were no further lines of inquiry and the case would be left on file. On July 12, 2016, she reported to police that she was being followed by Lane. Police treated the case as low risk, but that the investigating officer would be made aware. On August 4, 2016, she saw Lane loitering outside her home. She confided in her friend, Joanne Pumphrey, that she was afraid that police wouldn't believe her because of her previous fine for wasting police time. Although Joanne was a witness to this, Grice didn't report the incident to the police. On August 25, 2016, Lane waited until Grice was alone at home, then let himself in, slit her throat and set fire to her bedroom with her in it. Lane was sentenced to life imprisonment with a minimum term of 25 years. Thanks for watching. If you know more about any of these stories, do share in the comments section and don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video.